Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey, how's everybody doing today? Everybody doing okay? You know I was going to get my hands on this. Just a last minute little housekeeping. As y'all know, like I said yesterday, I'm going to be traveling. So tomorrow there's not going to be a show. There might be a show Saturday though, or Sunday, either one of those days. And then I'm still going to be doing live stream shows though. I don't know if anybody noticed, for my YouTube family, I attached my store to my channel. So not only is the link to my book in the description box, but it should also be, right underneath the video. I'm not sure if everybody can see that because I just did it yesterday, and I'm still working with it. I know if you're on the app, I'm not even really seeing it on the app. I don't know if it's just for videos. I'm not sure exactly how it works. Thank you, Nicole, for putting the link. But I did attach my store. So I'm trying to make it easier for people to get a hold of the book, make it obvious for people to get a hold to it. In any case, still trying to get the audiobook together. I signed up for the audio. Quick story. I signed up to do the audiobook. Of course, you got to do it through, like, Amazon is attached to Audibles, blah, blah, blah. So you open auditions for people to do a reading of your book, right? So I opened up, this was in December. I opened up auditions for a book reading. I had like 10 people to try out for it. I settled on a Black lady to read the book. I liked her voice. I liked the way she was reading, and she also seemed to be excited to actually read the work. Like, she was excited about what the book was about. So I'm like, okay, I went ahead and chose her. And do you know that was the end of it? I did not hear from her no more. They supposed to do a check-in. So you as the author is supposed to give the person that's going to read a section of book to read, specify what you want them to read, and then give them a set date to come up with the first 15 minutes, right? Or so. It doesn't have to be 15 minutes long, but to come up with a 15 at maximum of 15-minute long reading. You want it to be before they invest in reading the entire work, right? I did not hear nothing from her. I tried to contact her, I tried to reach out to her. I heard nothing. So it took a whole big thing to contact the customer support for them to nullify the contract that we had signed. Because if you stipulate what you want, how much you're going to pay, blah, 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 what date, blah, 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 through their messaging system, then they create the contract from whatever's in your messaging system. That's your contract. That's your proof for whatever was agreed upon. And I didn't hear nothing from her. I tried to reach out to her. I gave her ample time, even beyond the date that I wanted, the 15 minutes. And there was just nothing. So it took a whole thing for me to go through the customer service for them to void it, so that now I can open it back up. So now I'm slightly gun shy because I'm not trying to go through that a million times. So now I'm in between trying to put it back out there so somebody else can do it, because it will be extremely time consuming. Or do I read my own work? That is not as simple as you may think that is. It'll take me exponentially longer for me to read my own work and record it in such a way that it will be perfectly read. I don't care that if she did or not. My thing was, you can't just not, after a contract has been drawn up and signed, you don't just get to ghost. I don't care whatever else she was doing. See what I'm saying? Now, if it hadn't got that far and she had just rehearsed, but I ain't hear back from it, whatever. I don't know if I want AI to read my. AI is funny because it doesn't like to pronounce certain words. It won't get certain turns of phrases that I have used in that book. So it'll just be my luck for it to be in certain spots where the AI doesn't get it and say it stupidly. And then it's like, okay, the meaning is lost. Everything is lost. So that was just a little quick story / update about where it is with the audio book. I don't want to do the reading. Not that I don't want to read my work. I know it's going to take me months. You got to read them in each section. You got to record each section separately. There's rules to it. I have so many other things on my plate. You know, because I want it to be Whispersync. So I wouldn't be, Whispersync means that the audio and the print is exactly the same. So that the audiobook actually, if you have a Kindle, you can actually take advantage of Whispersync and all of the benefits of even having a Kindle and having your book read to you and all of that type of stuff. So, thank you, Steve, for kicking off the contribution. Said what it is, good sis and peace, ABC brothers always be carrying. Thank you so much, sweetheart. We're gonna get into it. And And thank you, Miss Lucasey, for your super sticker, sweetheart. I appreciate you so much. I would have to do two versions of it. One that is perfectly synced with the print, and then a second version, since I'm the author, to one that has annotations where I give different contexts and add different things to it. Things of that nature. So on the first run, if I did it, there would not be any annotation because I want it to be perfectly synced to the print. Give me 2 seconds. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Because we got Miss Ebony K. How you doing, Ebony? We got Miss Ebony K. And at this point, Ebony knows what she's doing. So she goes and she does the interviews about these dating standards and how difficult it is to date in this market when you are a woman in her position, financially, professionally, and biologically. In reference to her age, she's about my age. So yes, yes, yeah. That's what she's doing now, which is cool. You know, everybody else talk about it. She can throw her hat in it to it and talk about it too. Uh I went by the merit of what I wanted to hear because I had white women that read for me as well. Do I want to? Do and I don't mind a white female voice. I don't mind their voices. But my book is called Reclaiming the Black Feminine. So she was on Madame Noir, and I have not utilized any of Madame Noir's content in review in years. But this one is, she know how to go viral. I give it to her. I give that to Ebony. She know how to go viral. Um, but in her going viral and having these conversations, it more and more proves the point that we make, not about her specifically necessarily, but women like her, right? The panel that she was on, let me go ahead and share the screen. Okay, so the panel that she's on, the one with the Barbie hair right next to her, is none other than Miss L'Oreal. Now, who in the world is that? I mean, that's Barbie yellow. That's not even blonde. That I'm tripping. I'm tripping on the hair color. This Barbie color yellow. This old school Barbie. 90s Barbie yellow. 80s, 90s Barbie yellow. Now, Miss L'Oreal is none other than the one that Michael B. Jordan had to check and humble real quick because she wanted to flex like she knew him from high school. And indeed she did. Only it wasn't a pleasant experience from his point of view. So he just calmly called it out and was like, yeah, I was the corny one, right? I was corny, right? And then she gonna try to laugh it off like, yeah, that wasn't me, girl. But he has looked at you. The reason why he remembered it is because it hurt his feelings at that time. He probably liked her in high school because that's the only time that you file away stuff like that. He filed that away as a rejection, not only just getting roasted or whatever. She rejected him on the basis that he was corny when they were in school. That's why he remembered it, and he remembered her specifically. Right? That was a, oh, don't talk to me now. Check. I know the tone of that voice. I know my brothers. Okay. So she appears to be hosting this little show, Listen to Black Women, on the Madame Noir channel. The hair is taking me out. Okay. So what we're going to do is I got my what you call them? Timestamps. Got my timestamps. So we're gonna let it roll. You know, I gotta put the what you call it on it so they don't start tripping. But here we go.
It's interesting. So the past several months where I've been leading conversation,
yes,
amongst Black women and beyond, I think the main thing I've learned from this, y'all, is people really want Black women to be happy with anything. What people really want Black women to understand is that we are to be accepting of our positioning as the least desirable in society. We should get the memo that nobody really wants a Black woman. Thus, if anybody was to find themselves willing to take up with us, we should be happy, we should be grateful, and we should shut up about it. And if you are a Black woman that dares to push back on that mythology, because that's what it is, it's a damn lie from the pits of hell.
Right.
And if you were to push back on that and insist upon a value system, insist upon a criteria, insist upon just a standard into which we want to operate romantically, we are demonized.
Yes.
We are, we are seen as ungrateful, and eventually we become the ungrateful, angry Black woman. And I personally won't have it.
Every single time.
Yeah.
And you know what was really disgusting to me? You got a lot of backlash. And then I believe it was Tyler Perry who came on the flip side and basically said that we need to start looking at men that don't make as much, or the stay-at-home dads, and considering them.
I think his exact thing was, I mean, if he can contribute to, the light bill, then
the light bill,
but but he makes you happy in all other areas, then I mean, and he met you at your worth. I thought he'd actually said he met you at your worst. I was like, wait, what are we even saying? What is this story that we're being force fed? It's gross.
And they were applauding him.
I was just like, this is, first of all, Tyler Perry makes movies where the bus driver looks like Boris Kojo. And in that case, bring him on. Every single woman would be like, girl, I'm dating a bus driver. Oh, you want to see him? You know what I'm saying? So yes, that's a factor. And it's like, I kind of feel like it was a gotcha moment with you.
Yeah.
Because
now let me pause it. Let me come back to you guys. Okay. They be surrounded, don't they? So let's break down the hyena form of argument. Anytime they make a point, anytime they make any kind of point, they have three parts to an argument. And I'm going to I'm just going to name them for you. What kind of arguments? This is why you can't argue with the sisterhood. It's pointless. Because the first part, not in any particular order, is their argument will have a portion of truth. There will be a nugget of truth. I'm going to break it down in a second. There will be a nugget of truth in what many of the points that they make. There will be some nugget of truth. Okay? Can we agree to that? When hyenas argue, there's going to be, in some of their points, a small nugget of truth, whether they think they told the truth or not. There will be some nugget of truth, because this is how delusion works. This is how delusion works. A delusion of, especially a powerful delusion, the likes of which the sisterhood is under. A powerful, functioning, effective delusion must include a kernel of truth. Otherwise, it can be completely rejected. There must be some angle, some context, some perspective of truth. The other part of their argument, well, this is what makes it infuriating, is then they'll make a disingenuous point. They'll say something that could be true. And then they will go right behind it or in front of it, no particular order, a disingenuous point. And then for the grand finale, after they say a truth, they use the disingenuous point in order to do their finisher, which is the accountability dodge. It's like doing a choke slam. Okay, it's like doing a figure 4 leg lock to them. They gonna make you tap 3 times when they do the accountability dodge finishing move. This is why you can't bother with trying to argue any points or make any points. They're incorrigible. The bottom line is that the sisterhood is incorrigible. Okay? They can't be corralled. They can't be saved. They can't be helped, because they employ that method of argumentation. Okay? Against any point, no matter what the point is. So now let's get an example. What they just said, what Eboni opened up with was this 3-part, you'd have thought she was in the elimination chamber. This 3-part, she gonna win the Royal Rumble with this, right? That women's standards, Black women in particular, standards are ridiculed. They are criticized. They are demonized to a certain extent. By Black men, right? And women like me, they would call me a mammy, right? Just that, without no other context, is true. That's true. We do critique the collective of Black female requirements when it comes to dating, marriage, and all of that, relationships, right? We do critique that. We do examine that. We do say, this is unrealistic. We will ridicule it. The disingenuous point that the standard is ridiculed because don't nobody like Black women and everybody hate Black women and everybody don't respect Black women and they don't care about what Black women want romantically. That's the disingenuous point. So the true part is that when they name what their standards are, what their requirements are, blah, 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 what their expectations are for men and husbands and dating and fiancés and all of this type of stuff, those standards do get critiqued and criticized. That is true. The disingenuous point about that, though, is that they're saying that the reason that these standards are criticized and demonized was her word and disregarded, I guess, is simply because nobody likes Black women. Poor suffering victims, innocent Black women. No one just cares about what they want, and nobody cares about their romantic well-being, and no one cares about their overall well-being. Nobody likes them. Can't fathom why nobody. It's just wrong. It's just a bias. It's against us. And as Black women, and we were not desirable. People say that we don't, that people don't like us, and that people are not attracted to us, and people are not desired, and we just have to take it. And why should we, have to take that? Other women don't have to take that. Other women don't have to accept that is what. See that the disingenuous point. The way in which she dodges accountability is that they never truly examine the standards that they talk about, whether or not the standards are realistic, whether or not their standards are there to support a marriage. Are their standards selfless in any way? Are their standards healthy in any way? And do their standards and requirements add value to her as a woman and as a potential wife? They don't do that. Now, yes, while we do critique Black women's standards, it's not because we just have this, unreasonable, unprovoked as well disdain for Black women and we don't want to see them happy. No. Your standards are laughable because of who you are. Not because you're Black women, but because your mindset, the way you move, with men, the way you move in a romantic space, you do things that men specifically, which are the people you're arguing about, don't like you. That men specifically have told you that this particular mindset and this particular way in which you move, the motives that you have when you move a certain way, that is what we are not attracted to. This is what we're talking about. Case in point, they will say Black men don't like it when we have degrees and when we make money. And the reason that they don't like it is because they just want women they can control. No, absolutely not. First of all, it wouldn't be a problem if you had your degree. It wouldn't be a problem.
Since you got your degree and you know every fucking thing.
That wouldn't be a problem if you didn't come in with this whole haughty, I'm the husband, you gonna be the wife type of attitude. If you didn't come in with the contract versus the covenant, I covered that yesterday. If you came in wanting to be a wife under the covenant of marriage, whether you had a degree or not, whether you make 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, I don't care if you make 20 figures. If you wanted to enter into the covenant as a wife, none of what you do would be a problem when it came to your profession or your education or your money. That wouldn't be a problem. The problem come in is that those things are utilized as leverage for the contract. See, when you get into a business contract, those things do weigh in for leverage. This is why they can't get it in their mind. They can't get around it in their mind. They can't get around. Why does my education, money, wealth, maybe even my popularity, why aren't those things taken into consideration as part of my worth and value as a woman and as a partner? That is because the reason why none of that matters, to the extent of making men view you a certain way or making men more desire you more for a marriage, is because that is a part of the contract. When men are looking for marriage, they are looking for the covenant. You're not talking wife talk. You're talking partner talk. You're talking thought talk. This is when men, and then they get mad when men start talking about the contract. Okay, well, if you want a partner, then we gonna do 50-50. That's why they got mad and mentioned Tyler Perry, because that's what Tyler Perry was talking about. You don't want to be a wife. Okay, so let's do the contract then. And if we're going to do a contract, nobody with no sense signs a contract that does not have any benefit to them that is stipulated within the contract. So if you're going to have me here trying to lord money over me and all this other type of stuff, well, I'm not going to let you have all of that leverage in a contract. We're going to go 50-50 then. Since you want to talk about your money, let your money serve in this contract. Because we're not married. Remember, we're business partners. We partners. Marriage is a business. Remember? So let's crunch the numbers. Let's talk X's and O's. Let's talk ones and zeros. Let's get down to the brass tacks then. And when men start talking about that, Well, how can they leverage your money since you coming into the contract trying to use it as leverage and dangle it over them? Okay, well, let's leverage your money then. Let's leverage your education then. Let's do it. Come on. Come on, Cletus. Come on. And then when they get to talk, when men start saying, okay, we're not going to do the covenant. That means I'm not going to be your husband. I'll be your business partner, though. When men start saying all the stuff he gonna do and not gonna do, and he start making the differentiation between being a husband and being your partner, now you know what the covenant is about. Now you understand what he's supposed to be doing as a husband. Now you know he's supposed to be providing and protecting. And now you know all of that. No, we're going to keep that same energy. We're going to keep that same energy. If you want to be a wife, start talking wife talk. All that boss talk, all that boss chick talk, that's not wife talk. You're not talking like a wife. You're not saying anything that wives say. You're not talking about it. She had the audacity to bring up value systems. We know where your value system is at. Stop getting mad at men because men also know where your value system is at. Your value system is over here. That is where you want your so-called marriage to be steeped and seated in the lost value system, whereas wealth and leisure and profession and education and all of that is the primary focus and the primary foundation upon which you are going to build this so-called marriage that you want to have. It's the lost value system, because if you don't care about the covenant, which would have focused on the internal values instead as a foundation, your spiritual, your health, your family appearance, and your dwelling values. You don't want that. You don't like that. And that's fine. So stop getting mad at men when men say, fine, we don't have to do the covenant. Let's do the contract, but we're going to have some stuff in this contract that protect me too. And that benefit me as well. You're not going to have me over here thinking I'm supposed to be a husband when I'm really supposed to be operating in the capacity of a business partner. Stop. You're not going to play in my face like that. You're not going to play in my face like that. Because wives don't start talking about their money in that capacity. Well, I got this, and I went to school to do this, and I got the degree to do that, and da. So that puts me at a particular level to where I should be considered somewhere where I'm not. That's not wife talk. When lionesses, when wives talk about their financial positioning in the courting stage, it is never discussed in terms of what kind of new position do that put me in. If I earn X amount, what kind of new position? Ain't no new position. It's the same position. Wife, that's your position. That's the position. What you talking about? Your finances don't change the wife position. It does not alter the covenant. It doesn't alter the covenant. I don't care if you are a wife, if you are a lioness, and let's just say you do make more than your potential husband. Let's say you courting and you make more than your potential husband. Your money may get discussed. But if you're a lioness and a wife, you're not discussing it from the standpoint of, well, what kind of leverage does that give me over you in this marriage? None. Absolutely none. Absolutely none. Because whether he make a little or a lot, his position as a husband in the covenant don't change. And it's the same for you. Whether you make a little or a lot, your position in the covenant as a wife does not change. It does not change. It's immutable. And that's the part they don't like. That's why we don't talk about that. That's why we don't talk about money as lionesses from that standpoint and perspective. How much power does it give me in this relationship? No more power than the power that the Most High gave you. That does not change. It does nothing. Before we continue on, after these messages, we'll be right back because I still need you guys to hit the link at the top of the chat for ashkicking.com. You see the hearts, you see what's going on. If you want to keep your skin and your boo-boo kitty skin looking and feeling its best and being extra moisturized, then you want to go to ashkicking.com and get their body butter along with their other body care products that are awesome. And I know this from experience and from using them. I'm almost done. It's on its last legs, that jar of body butter. Do you understand? So we're going to have to re-up on the body butter. But if this is your first order that you're going to be making, you definitely want to take advantage of the 10% discount using the promo code Crimson. Okay. So once again, ashkicking.com. Go to their website, a beautiful website. Go fill up your basket with all types of goodies for you and your significant other. And once again, take advantage of your 10% discount using the code Crimson if that's going to be your first order. I don't know how many likes I need, but I owe y'all a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button for me. Let me see if I can get to these other super chats. Thank you, HVAC said Michael B. Jordan, where you at? L'Oreal look like a Oompa Loompa. The roast is real. Thank you, Lord. Geotron. So these hyena standards are lost values. That's why. Exactly. Thank you, John Teal saying an ounce of truth in a pot full of BS is their game. Exactly. Thank you, Miss Luciana, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you, Condemned Man. So they got a PhD in combativeness with a master's degree in deflection. Yeah. Thank you, JoJo. Says she's a strong, independent millionaire that wants to spend a man's money. That's the part that be getting me. Thank you, Supreme 10 said, if African-American women have all these options in the dating market, why are these men from other ethnicities worldwide not pursuing in large numbers? We're actually going to get to that part. And thank you, Antonio. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm moving too fast. And thank you, Antonio, said Kendra, my fellow Illinoisan. Thank you for yesterday's lesson. I've never been able to articulate as well the contrast between covenant and contract as you did yesterday. Definitely something I can hang my hat on. As always, keep on keeping on. And thank you so very much. Absolutely not. They are not going to give me that plaque. I've just made peace with that. They have not, and they aren't going to. So, I don't even want to think about that. It makes me mad. Anyway, so let's move on. Okay. Because I want to point this out, because we definitely gonna get to the divestment argument. Okay.
Assumption that Black women's only option is to date Black men.
Oh, well.
The conversation really
Okay, now.
never gets examined as to the other options that Black women have.
Right.
You know, and listen, I understand wanting to be race loyal. I understand wanting to, if you're a Black woman, you want to marry a Black man, you want to have Black children. I totally get it. But the reality of the situation is that I feel like, and I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody, I feel like Black men don't really want to have the conversation that Black women actually do have more options that are available to them than are ever kind of proposed.
Yeah.
Because yes, Black men, sure, it might be a little bit more difficult, but if you are willing to date outside your race, the options open up. And
I do, but wait, I have to give
now before, because Ebony is actually going to put she's gonna put a little something on that. She's gonna respond back to that a little bit, which didn't surprise me, because Ebony knows how to talk. She know how to be a media personality. I'm not gonna hold you though. Them shoes that I forget the other lady's name that's in the black over here. Them boots though, baby. Do you understand me? It's the boots for me, baby. Now, I'm not all that big of a fan of a peep toe, but you almost can't tell it's a peep toe because she got on black she has on black pantyhose or whatever. But baby, them boots. Do you understand me? I need me a little pair of booties. Anyway. Now, she's going to add a little something to this, because remember, Ebony has dated outside. Ebony has dated white men. Her last fiance was a white dude, a rich one. So she is not talking from a place of hypotheticals. She already did that. She said that when all of this stuff first kicked off with her talking points on this subject with Auntie Iyanla, when she said I dated all over the racial spectrum and socioeconomic spectrum. So she basically saying she's had a lot of different opportunities with a lot of different men. None of them work. Baby, it is you. It is you, beloved. Okay? So the thing about that is that she's going to speak to it. And I really want y'all to listen to what she said. She added a little bit, a small dose of a tad bit of reality to the divestment crew. Why come this beloved right here ain't got no bottoms on? Baby, there is no skirt that should be so short that I can't even see the hem of your garment, baby. I can't see the hem of your garment. Beloved. Beloved. And everything else is so nice. Your little bun and your little blazer is cute. But beloved, it shouldn't be no skirt or nothing else. Pair shorts, dress, nothing, baby. That's so short I can't see the hem of your garment when you're sitting down. But we gonna try to go past it. But beloved, hey baby, now. Okay. Let's hear what Ebony says about that.
I have to give a caveat for this because I don't want to make any presumptions. As somebody who has been very open and transparent about my dating within and beyond Black men, I just want to say that that's not necessarily the savior complex that people think. Unfortunately, because I think when I have this conversation with Black women who have never dated outside of Black men, they often have a romanticized fantasy ideal about what that is, kind of like non-Black men will save us. And I don't know,
No,
straight to
that
Cam.
is not,
And I know that's not what you're
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
right? But I do think like that was in the comments,
Yeah.
right, of kind of my bus driver gate. Well, sis, what they need to know is you can date non-Black men, and you will still have many of the same perils because there are differences culturally, but men are men. And when it comes down to misogyny and default presumptions of feminine worth and value, some of those things control cross-culturally. I only know it from experience.
But I will say some of the women that I know that have dated outside of their race, I do not. I only date Black men.
Now, it doesn't matter what L'Oreal is talking about. I want to speak to what Ebony basically just said. She pointed out, see, this is another truth. See, this is another truth, and then a disingenuous point, and then an accountability dodge. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see it? Did you hear it? Did you hear the 3-prong? That I'm telling you, she gonna win WrestleMania with it. With the 3-prong attack. The hyenas is gonna win the boneyard with this, man. Listen, she did truth, disingenuous point, and accountability dodge. Truth. Other men, non-Black men, are not going to save Black women. It's not the romanticized thing that a lot of Black women seem to think that it's going to be. That's true. Across the board, men pretty much want the same thing out of women. That is true. Disingenuous point. She blames misogyny for men wanting femininity, for men's preferences and standards about wanting women to fulfill the traditional role of feminine women and wives. That is to be painted as a red flag and as a salient point of their misogyny collectively. So the fact that men, any man from any ethnicity, from any background, from any socioeconomic place, from anywhere across the world, any man who wants, who demands, who says his standard is that he will not marry a woman who is not feminine, who is not a wife in all earnest, who does not fulfill the areas of wifehood. She doesn't have any spirituality. She doesn't have any femininity. She doesn't have any submissiveness. She doesn't have any good followership. She does not have any of these things, any of these qualities that would actually make her a good wife, potentially a good mother, and all of these sorts of things. You know, him wanting that, him demanding that, him saying that, him putting that into the world, that this is the woman across the board, generally speaking, that is the archetype of woman, of a wife. And men saying that has been blamed on a collective form of misogyny. They hate women. We know what misogyny, misogyny is not a lightweight word. It is a word full of derision and hatred and negativity. Misogyny is no better than misandry. No better. It's the same thing. It's just the other side of the coin. It is the same thing. Just as ugly as misandry can be, is the same ugly as true misogyny can be. But it is misogynistic for men to say that they are looking for the covenant and not the contract. Right? So she blames that. That's how she dodges accountability. The disingenuous point and the dodging of accountability is pretty much one and the same. So in order to dodge the accountability, the disingenuous point must be brought up. Well, it's misogynistic, which removes the accountability of women, specifically Black women, since that's what we're talking about, from having any responsibility for how she is seen and for how she is regarded when it comes to dating, marriage, and romance. So men wanting the covenant, men wanting the wife is wrong and misogynistic. Women wanting the contract, i.e. business partners is right and progressive. We go back. I'm going to fast forward. Because now we're going to come to, there's a whole section also that deals with why they don't want to be wives. Let's take a listen a little bit. This is prior to what I really want to point out, but just about a minute or so prior. So here we go.
Have class, socioeconomic distinctions.
Exactly,
Let's just start from that point.
Yeah.
Right.
We want to pretend that we live in this kumbaya society where, quote, everyone's the same. Stop cap.
Yeah.
Stop cap.
Yeah. It's very
It's
true.
not.
Yeah.
It's not. Like
very
we need to
true.
be clear. And it's not, for me, it's never about being better than, which I think is how a lot of that was framed. I've been
Yes.
very clear. My mother drove Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools bus for many years to make sure that I had everything that I needed. And from that, and if I bought a bus driver home to Gloria, she would slack the black off of me. Because her point is I put you in position to go get it. To go get it at a different and yes, higher level. So why, and let me tell you something else I know about women who show up in success and financially and this, that, and the third, and then they try to act as if we're all the same. And they do date, men that maybe are differently positioned financially or educationally or otherwise. They are typically resented. I'm gonna just tell you the truth. The women I know that build men, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because we've all done it. That's truth be told. In my first marriage, I paid the bills. Let's be clear. I'm not speaking hypothetically. I'm speaking from experience. I was a lawyer dating a grad student. Who do you think was running them bills?
Right.
Let's stop it. And what I felt, y'all, was I appreciate the lifestyle I get to live with you, but I hate you for it.
Yes.
But I hate you for it.
Yes.
I hate that I got to have my hand out when I want to go get these new kicks. I hate that I have to ask in a way about, well, where are we going on vacation and what does my contribution look like? Because I'm not running shop the way I really want to run shop, as most men really like to lead their household.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, she said something very interesting in all of that. She said something very interesting. And yes, I did catch her not being able. Ebony, it's not stop cap. It's stop the cap. Stop the cap. That's how you say that. Stop the cap or stop capping. That's how we say that. That's how us little little mammy hood boogers say that. We say stop the cap or stop capping. It's not okay. We don't make fake cross signs when we do it. Okay. Now, she said she knows from experience about being the breadwinner in the house. And she referred to her first marriage, her only marriage. And she said she was the lawyer and he was the grad student. I want y'all to sit with that for a second. She was the woman who had already graduated and gotten into her career field. She wanted to date and marry a grad student, not a thug on the corner, not a Madden King. Shout out to Tommy for that little piece of lingo. Not a Madden King. Not a dude that all he do is smoke weed, roll blunts, and have sex with you. Not that. A grad student, which means he's already graduated from the 4-year curriculum of a university and is now in grad school, which means he was going for a higher degree than bachelor. He was maybe going for either a master's or a doctorate of some sort. He would now become the man she looking for. You should have stayed with him. And I'm saying she should have stayed with him because when you hear Ebony speak about this man, which I tried to actually look him up, I couldn't find him because I don't think she ever says his name. And because I wanted to see what he was doing now professionally. But I couldn't. The only person I found was her ex, her recent ex from a few years ago. But she wasn't married to him, and that was her fiance. But in any case, the man that her first husband likely is today is the man she's looking for. I almost can guarantee you that. I would be very surprised if I'm off. The man that she's looking for today is likely him. Know why I say that? Because first of all, when she talks about him, she don't never say he did nothing wrong to her. She doesn't say, oh, well, he was this type of guy, he was abusive, or he was cheating, or he was none of the boneyard talking points. She actually says he wasn't doing nothing wrong. I was wrong. She actually says I wasn't a good wife. I wasn't a good wife. She actually says that. So when she says, I like living a life that you providing for me, but I hate you for it. Again, the disingenuous point. He wasn't saying that because he felt insecure about her earning money and him not being in a position at that point in time in his life where he was earning money. He probably had the plan as to how he was going to get in position professionally that he would be able to meet or exceed her. This is likely why he didn't mind getting into a relationship and a marriage with her, because a man will get into a marriage with a woman that makes considerably more than he makes if he has a plan that within the next 4, 5, 6 years, he's going to outstrip her financially. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? I want the men. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Men, in many cases, won't mind to get into a marriage or relationship with a woman that has all the qualities that he wants. She make more than him, a lot more than him, like she's in another tax bracket. Especially if he knows that in the next 5, 6 years or so, I'm going to meet her or I'm going to outstrip her financially. I'm actually going to be able to sit her down. She ain't going to have to, I'm not going to be worried about her money, and neither is she, because I'm going to be able to do this. I already know what I'm finna do. I already know what I'm finna do. I know what I got lined up, and I know it's gonna work. It's not even a shot in the dark. It's not even a Hail Mary. I know that these plays gonna drive me down the field, and we gonna get that touchdown. I already know. So I'm not worried about she in a position right now to pay for the lifestyle, and I'm not worried about that. Because if anything, that's going to make him work that plan way more efficiently as well. Because he actually doesn't like being in that position, but he's not a bum either. He's not some type of good for nothing dude that's just going to rest on his laurels and let his woman do. He not even of that mindset, but he just know where he at right now versus where he going to be in 5 years. He already know that where he's at right now is just the pathway. It's just, he's just working his plan. That's all he doing, is working his plan. What made him uncomfortable was her. She made him uncomfortable with that. Because she made it where he had to ask her. The same thing that women don't like when they don't have means and they get with a man with means. They don't like it if he makes it where she got to ask him for a quarter every time she wants something. She can't get a pack of bubble gum without asking him for the 50 cents to get it. You understand what I'm saying? She don't like that. She feel like they call that financial abuse. Do you understand? She was doing that to him. She made him feel it. She said herself she wasn't a good wife. That's how she wasn't. That was part of it. She made him feel like she was taking care of him. She didn't make him feel like she was supporting. That I may be in position right now a little bit ahead of you. So one of us got to handle these bills. One of us got to handle it. You understand? But I'm still in support of you because I know you going to get it. You're not just laying around chilling. I see you grinding. I see your grind. I see it. That's why she married him in the first place. She saw that. She got impatient. Hold on. She got impatient with him. She made him, instead of opening an account and putting money in that account that he have access to, so that when he got to do anything, he doesn't have to come to her like, mommy, please, can I get my college books? Mommy, please, can I get my shoes? Instead of treating him like she was sonning him, she was sonning him. And he didn't like that, because if he was on his grind, it didn't matter whether she was making more money or not than him. He would still have his masculinity. And now you're making me compromise my masculinity for this. I thought you were going to support me. You see me working the plan I said I was going to do. You see me in the midst of this. So how you switched up? You done switched up on me, ma'am. I believe that somebody was in her ear about she was being stupid for that. No, she wasn't. And now in her 40s, she's looking for him. Because if he made good on whatever plan that he was working, he's in the position now financially of the man that she wants. And she has not been able to do better than him. Nobody since then has taken her seriously enough to marry her. She was engaged to that white man like 4-5 years. It don't take that long to get no ring from no man that's intended to give it to you. Now she looking for him. She looking for him. But if you had just stayed with him, you'd have him now. You'd have him not as the grad student, but as the man that has now outpaced you financially. And that you supported him through his grind. He supported you through what you were doing, and y'all made it work. She didn't want to make it work. She didn't want to make it work. All her little business ventures and all her little meetings and all her little, you know what I'm saying, her little AKA sisters was in her ear about how stupid she was and to do this and to the girl. You gotta build a bear, you know, and all that other kind of foolishness. It got in her head. She started acting away with him that she wasn't acting like before. She started being away with him. She started being away with him. And that's what broke it up, because he like, where this come from? Where this come from? Why are you talking to me like this? Why are you emasculating me like this? You see what's going on. I'm not doing anything any different than what we discussed. So and she left. She left that marriage and ain't been able to get Nan since. So you the problem. You the problem. And the last point that I want to bring up, that I want y'all to hear this. It's not a surprise, but I want you to hear it. I'm gonna back it up just a tad and let you hear.
Ask in a way about, well, where are we going on vacation and what does my contribution look like? Because I'm not running shop the way I really want to run shop, as most men really like to lead their household.
Right.
Exactly. And so when I was talking about Miss CEO of Xerox, I'm saying, what is the problem with a woman of that stature? The amount of time that she's invested, not into her, schooling, but her profession, into her life, building herself up. Why shouldn't she feel like she should be equally yoked? Why is that a problem?
Yeah.
And then it's always the reverse card.
True.
Well, when men are titans of industries, do they go looking for equally yoked, et cetera, et cetera? No, because they're probably not going to go find it. I'm like, oh, Jesus, Lord, take the wheel.
Yeah. Well, they also want somebody that's going to follow them around and do what they want them to do.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Titans of industry are looking for women who are not going to say, I'm sorry, my schedule is
Exactly.
that. They need a woman who is going to be at their beck and call, who is going to be available for everything, who's going to have the kids, raise them, and just be available for them.
Would you ever do something like that, Al?
What?
And scene. We just got contractors trying their best to describe the covenant of wifehood. And did you hear how they covered that? Hear how they define that? A lap dog, a slave under the subjugation. No, her husband was black. The dude she was just engaged to was a white guy. She wasn't talking about the white guy. Thank you for your contribution, by the way. How they just tried the contract likers, the business partners tried to describe wifehood, and she tried not to be so snarky about it, but I know snark and sarcasm when I hear it. And they just want a woman to follow them around, and they just want, to just be there for him and just raise the kids and just be there for him. They have zero concept of what a wife actually does and what men actually want out of a wife. They absolutely have zero concept of that. They tried to make it sound so demeaning and so like she doesn't think, he doesn't want a woman that thinks. He wants a wife. Not, yeah. He wants a feminine traditional woman. Yeah. Because she doesn't know how to think and she doesn't think for herself and she doesn't have anything going for herself. And she's not self-made and she doesn't do anything. She just at his beck and call. This is just for him. She has no idea what wives do. None. That's what they think of us, lionesses. This is why I say don't listen to a back foot. Try to make you feel bad about being a wife. Because the first problem is they have no idea what you do. They don't know why you do what you do, and they don't know what you do. They think that our submissiveness is just following a man around and we don't have a mind of our own and we don't do anything. Like knock it off. We a little bit smarter than you. We know how to pick a man that want us. How's your boss chick mentality working for you? We have so much intelligence, so much insight. That intuition y'all claim y'all got, but don't know when you done ran into another male hyena that's about to do you dirty. You don't know nothing about that, but you know about everything else. We actually have that. So we have the real standards whereby we vet men. We actually vet men. We don't just go for the men that we're physically attracted to. We actually vet them. And then it don't matter how fine he is. If he ain't no lion, he out of there. He can even throw the D on us. Go ahead, do your thing. Do your thing, 21. Do your thing. And when he done with that, that was nice. I don't think you got no vision. No, we can't take that no further. That was nice, though. I mean, that was nice. We able to keep quality men. They like to tell us that we are just getting any old kind of man just to say we got a man and we settling. No, we not. Lionesses do not settle for just any old man. Just cause he got XY chromosomes. That's not the standard. That's not the standard. They swear to God, that's the standard. That ain't the standard. Bookie, that ain't the standard. Backfoot Bookie. We do more than that. Baby girl. Y'all settle for whoever, whenever, however. He actually gotta have something for us, beloved. You a lion, prove it. Prove it. Prove you a lion. Go ahead on out there. I'll be watching. No. I don't need your explanation. I just need to watch how you move. Go ahead. Go on out there into the pride land. I just want to see how you move. I'm trying to see something. This is why when lionesses have other lions at their disposal, if she happened to have her father or her brother or anything like that, to talk to these other males, we trying to see something. We trying to see is you a lion or not. Because if you not, he about to bite your back feet for me. I'm trying to see something. Yeah, baby, I got this going on. Oh, okay, that's nice. Ooh, that sounds so good. Go on out there and let me see. Go on, just step out there for me. I'm trying to see something. At the end, she tell on herself. I said that last one because I just want y'all to hear how they tell on themselves. All that valuing right on up out the window. I want y'all to hear what really matters. Let's.
For successful women.
Because the success is not to our advantage.
Beautiful.
Now, okay, let's just name some things.
Yeah.
Okay, because I can't sit up on this panel and not name the fact that even in this conversation of 4 diverse women of different lived experiences, we still represent some similarities. Nobody on this panel is darker than a brown paper bag. We need to name that. Mm-hmm. Nobody on this panel is more than a size 10. And so let's just kind of expand the conversation. We represent a preference. Oh, am I the only one here?
No, I'm listening. No, we're listening.
We represent a preference amongst what society and in particular Black men have said they preferred. And yet, we represent Black women that are still paying a price and a tax for our success. Can we imagine what this conversation looks like with our darker melanated sisters? Can we imagine what this conversation looks like with our curvier sisters? So I think that this is showing to me the impetus of the crisis. Mm-hmm. We're in a crisis when it comes to Black women in romantic partnership, because to Melissa's point earlier, of course we can, and many of us do date outside of the Black race, but I'm never gonna try to convince a Black woman to want something she doesn't want.
Oh,
right?
Never,
You know what I mean?
Absolutely
If you are attracted and desirous of a Black man, that's what I want for you.
All right, thank y'all so much.
Oh, no.
Listen, this was an amazing.
He didn't say what I wanted her to say.
Go get it. And that's what I want men to understand about. We want a man that we're actually attracted to.
There we go.
Physically, emotionally, psychologically, intellectually. And if you're not that, you know what I mean?
Nowadays.
It is a lot to ask.
It's
and
not a lot to
not.
ask.
I actually think it is.
No, I swear to God, everybody you trying to convince us that we need to accept the bare minimum needs to go somewhere? No, that is not a lot to ask. I swear to God, the bar's in hell.
No, but I agree with you because
I
if
just
they
don't
have
want
all
it.
that,
Was
they
my
want
my
love.
point.
Yeah, they want
So
someone
if
that
you're
can
not all of those.
Now, I wanted y'all, the reason I played that little last part, and I promise you no more. The reason I played that little last part is because of it's two things there. First of all, she told what they really want. And Melissa Ford, the one on the end, actually said it in the beginning. If the bus driver looked like Boris Kojo, bring him in. So as long as he looked good, they'll deal with him. We already know that, right? And then Eboni said, we want a man that we are attracted to intellectually and physically. And da, 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 da. And then they're like, oh, it's too much to ask. No, it's not. Hear me out. It's too much for them to ask. That's not too much for a lioness to ask. It's too much for a hyena to ask a lion to be all the lion that he can lion up and be for her while she remain a hyena, because there's no way he can operate in his full capacity as a lion while she's a hyena. It can't happen, because that is reserved for lionesses. Why do I say that? Because if you are a lioness that's looking to be a wife, that is not difficult. A man that you are actually attracted to, a man that you can have a conversation with, a man that's intellectually y'all on par, and he can teach you things, and then he got some money too, and he willing to take care of you, and that's not difficult. Let's see, I'm physically attracted to my husband. He's gorgeous. He's actually gorgeous inside and out. Physically, he's gorgeous, but also his energy is gorgeous. His mind is wonderful. I like hearing him talk. I like hearing him express his thoughts. I like hearing him express his vision. I like hearing him express his spirituality. I like hearing him express his leadership to me, and all of these other things. Like, we have spiritual conversations, and we have goofy conversations, and then we have deep conversations, and then we have business conversations, and then we have a whole spectrum. And I get to hear his perspective. I get to hear more about how his mind really works. I get to hear and understand more about how he sees the world and his perspective of things, and how he sees himself, and how he sees his family, and all of these different things, how he recognizes his gifts, and a whole slew. And he takes care of me. Go figure. That the husbands are never out of reach of the wives. The husbands are never out of reach of the wives, ever. There is no husband that is out of the reach of a wife, that's out of her league. As long as a lioness can do what a lioness can do, you name me which alpha male don't want her. Name me one. And I'm not talking about each individual man. I'm talking about the men as a collective. There is no socio-economic status that he can be if he's a lion to not want a lioness. When do he become, the more of a lion he is, the more he wants the lioness. It actually is increased. What are we talking about? There's no husband out of the reach of a wife. If he's really a husband and she's really a wife, There's no husband out of the reach of a wife. I don't care if he make $10 or $10 million. Lionesses don't have this issue. We don't constantly talk about, well, we need him to make $6 million a day. And we don't have, you know why we don't have that? Because of, especially a seasoned lioness. Do we care? Because we going to come through with so much femininity. He ain't going to be thinking about that. And neither are we. Because we ain't really counting it no way. As long as we feel like we can be adequately taken care of, it look like y'all right. I don't even need to know your exact dollar amount. I don't need to know. You look like you doing okay. So actually, a lioness, we don't have that problem. We don't have a problem going to get the 1%. We don't have no problem getting the 5%. We don't have no problem getting the 10. We don't have no problem getting the average. We don't have that. We don't have that problem. Just wherever you fall. Really, it's a matter of who's in that lioness's circle. Come on with it now. The lionesses know. Because every 1% man, if he do his due diligence properly, he gonna end up with a lioness. He wasn't out of her reach. And she didn't need to be a millionaire to be within his reach, to even be in his circle. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? If he's a multi-millionaire man and he do his due diligence, he gonna end up with a lioness. If he's a husband, he gonna end up with a wife. He was not out of her league. Because what's the league? They think money and you need to be equally yoked. You know, I broke that down weeks ago, about a month or so ago. Then they be trying to figure out why this big old rich, you know, he's successful all over his life and he got this, he got that, he go there. All the women want him. Why he with her? And they be thinking, well, she ain't fine. Well, she ain't a 10. Well, she ain't this. Because she a lioness. He was out of her reach. That's a joke. It's a joke. Do y'all understand what I mean by that? I'm about to wrap this up. But do y'all understand what I mean by it's not out of the league? If you're a wife, why would husbands be out of your league? Now, if you want these contract backfoots, then yeah, that's out your league. You ain't got enough to negotiate the contract. Get out of my face. Let's see. Thank you, Blue Exodus. Said they value degrees and Eurocentric job status when they think Black men value certain skin colors. Muppet hair called might be corny, by the way. Yeah. Thank you, Skinny Boy. Said it should be easy to divest. They're halfway there with the casket ready, pale makeup, Caucasian wigs, and colorist ideals about their own race. Thank you, John Teal. So they can talk circles all day. They'll be alone. Thank you, Trey. Said, did you hear when Melissa Ford said she believes in progressive traditionalism? Like, what the heck is that? They make up words. Thank you, Philip, for your contribution. I appreciate you. Thank you again, John Teal. So he's lucky because in a jam, he would have put his life on the line to protect her. Imagine dying for someone to feel like that about you. Thank you, Miss Celine. Says she got a shut up ring, most likely. If you really want marriage, why stay with a guy that long if you haven't been down the aisle? Yeah, she got a shut up ring. Thank you, Ranger. Said, was this the white husband? Oh, no, I read that. Thank you, United South. Said, Cook. Thank you, Eric Dedman. Said this is nothing more than a group of adolescent teenage girls throwing a tantrum because the men they want don't want them. They want to put themselves above God. One of them says she wants worship. Thank you, Kevin. Said thank you, Kendra, for caring for our community. No problem. Thank you, Osa. So just got your book, sis, more on the intro than the majority of the manosphere. Salute, Kendra. Much respect. Thank you so much. Thank you, John J10. So as a man, once you understand the role, purpose, and functionality of being a husband, you'll be a lot more prudent in who you give the ring to. HVAC said, man, I'm done. I'll see y'all Saturday. These wastemelon and hyenas. Peace chat. They just tell on themselves. Thank you again, J10. Says something we have to pay attention. Hyenas tend to attack on two fronts: the true masculine men who handle their business and have standards, and the women who set the standards of womanhood. Thank you, Mark. Said Ebony K tries to kick a field goal wide right. Thank you, Intertitle. Said those women can't fathom that men do not want them. And thank you, TD. Tell them. So why does nobody point out that even when you date outside your race, you just attract a race swap version of what you already been pulling? They don't like to talk about that. Let's see. I got a couple of cash apps. Thank you, GB. Thank you, CC. Thank you, CB. Thank you, HD. Thank you, JJ twice. Thank you. I appreciate you for your contribution. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.